Welcome back, audience. Preview of coming events.
Yeah, move your hips, baby. Move your thighs. I use your lips, baby. Conceal his cries. He's a tracing a tiny finger down your spine. He's leaving behind a thin red line. Oh, don't get so sad when it all comes down so heavy. A low wind moans across his flame as he rakes at your chest with his red right hand.
Round 4, people. Here we go. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am joined once again by Anime Talk Dylan and my good buddy, the Austinator. What is up, fellas?
What up, what up, what up?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
We're almost there, people. Just over a month away from Scream 6. Who's excited?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, maybe,
It's gonna be
kinda,
interesting.
sure. What?
You
Where
better be
am
excited
I?
for my movie or I'll gut you like a fish. You understand?
Mr. Ghostface, I have a question.
What?
Why are you copying Halloween?
Shut up. I'll gut you like a fish.
Sir, you say that in every movie, and you're kind of, you're rehashing new material.
You mock me again and I'll cut through your neck until I feel
Well, I
bone.
mean, isn't that the point, considering it's all meta humor anyway?
Mr. Ghostface, I also got another question.
What?
Are you gonna have a character named Corey Cunningham in your next movie?
Fuck. Scrap the movie.
I'm still waiting on an answer, Mr. Ghostface.
Now I gotta call the studios and scrap the movie because of you.
Oh, good. I saved the audience. Oh my God, he's back. No, we can't suffer through another Mr. Corey Cunningham, Mr. Ghostface.
Hey,
Yeah, more integrity than this.
Hey. Guess what?
What?
If I can't have her.
Oh my God, no. Ghostface was Corey all along. He couldn't make it in Halloween. So he had to go to the Scream franchise.
All jokes aside, I'm actually really excited for this one because I'm just going to say it right off the bat. As of right now, this is my favorite Scream movie. Fellas?
I'll let Dylan start. I'll let Dylan go first because my thoughts should go last.
We'll go into our brief thoughts before we then go into our positives and negatives and stuff. But for now, give brief thoughts before we go into more detail later. And as always, spoiler warning.
Right. Brief thoughts is, this is Scream 3 done right. It was done better, and actually, I agree with Zach. This is probably the best one because of it.
All right. Well, here comes my opinion. All right, you all got to sit down for this. I think Scream 4. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Hang on. I got to do this for dramatic effect. Hold on. All right. Hold on.
You hate my movie and I'll cut through your neck until you feel bone.
Scream 4 is. Scream 4 is. Oh, hold on. My throat's dry. Hold on. Okay. Scream 4 is a really good movie.
Wow. That just blew my mind away.
Now, I am going to be quite honest. When I watched this movie again, I didn't know what to think because it was Scream 4. The Scream trilogy ended on a pretty good note. So I was like, okay, what can they do in Scream 4 to really, I don't know, expand on it? And I have to say I was thoroughly impressed. And I agree with what Dylan said. It was Scream 3 done right. And I will say it is right now my second favorite Scream movie out of the 4. But while this movie is really good, I still have a couple of issues with it. But other than that, very good movie.
This isn't your favorite?
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna cut through your neck until I feel bone.
I mean, Mr. Ghostface, the first one, is the best one.
Shut up. I'll cut you like a fish, you understand?
Mr.
First
Ghostface.
one was really good, but for me, it's like the first and second one are tied for second place. Like I can't pick either one over the other. This one, I don't know what it was, but just put it over the edge for me. Not by very much. They're all really good.
Mr. Ghostface, haven't you already said that, sequels suck?
Shut up.
Okay, well, I will definitely shut up, Mr. Ghostface.
Otherwise, you're gonna deal with this asshole again.
Oh, not Corey Cunningham. That's my worst enemy.
He's my boy.
Dude, I'm gonna be the main character of Scream 7, and the entire time it's just me trolling.
You know what? I was thinking of a joke for that. Sorry, but I was thinking I was gonna do like a little bit in the opening with the Corey bit. I was gonna be like, Billy's brother.
Oh my god, it's Corey Cunningham.
Imagine that.
Oh my god, it's Corey Cunningham, Stu Cunningham's brother.
But, and I will say, as I said before, this is my favorite of the series. I think it has the most inventive ideas in the series since the first film. The acting is the best it's been since the first film. The characters are all the greatest they've ever been since the first film. And the kills are arguably maybe the goriest, if not gorier, than they've been since the original movie. I love, adore Scream 4. And with that being said, we will all get into our positives. I will hand it off to Dylan, then to Austin, and then I will round it off.
All right, positives. First off, I'm sorry, I'm going right into spoilers. So, guys, if you haven't seen this movie, please go and watch this movie. I'm sorry, the first positive that I have to talk about is the darn villain's motivation. I just really I thought that maybe for a majority of the film, I thought it'd be really interesting if it turned out to be her cousin, Jill. And the fact that it was Jill, and her motivation was basically because she's been kind of put into the spotlight, but she isn't in the spotlight. She's just it's Sydney this, it's Sydney that, and she's just so annoyed with it. She wants to be in the spotlight. She wants to be the big hero. She wants to be known. So she decides to frame somebody and become Ghostface herself and take the title, not knowing that there's no way she's gonna get away with this. It's of course Sydney that wins the day, but it was really awesome. And I liked, just like with the first movie, I liked how it kept switching. Like a problem that I have with the second movie is there wasn't very many times where I could guess and switch back and forth. No, this movie had me switching back and forth just like the first one, like about 4 or 5 times. And it was a lot of fun to try to figure out who's gonna be the main villain at the end. And the fact that I was right on both of them, that's right, there's 2 villains, and the fact that I was right on both of them
You got
just makes
one.
it that
Right.
much more fun.
You got one. You got one.
It makes no. I thought it was going to be the hairy dude. I can't remember. Huh?
Charlie.
Charlie. I thought it was gonna be Charlie, and I thought so. I said, here's the thing. I kept thinking Charlie's name was I think her name was Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Charlie and what's her name? Sydney's cousin. What's Sydney's
Jill.
cousin's name?
Jill.
Jill. So wait, who was the third person that they killed?
Charlie killed Kirby.
Kirby, that's right. So I kept thinking Charlie's name was Kirby, but Kirby was the girl and Charlie was Charlie. Boy. But anyway, I thought that was gonna be Charlie and Jill, and I was right on both of them. It was fantastic. I did think for a second maybe it wasn't Charlie when Charlie it ended up being stabbed, but of course it turned out to be a whole fake. And I like the twist. I really do like the twist on the first movie, where this time instead of the boyfriend getting stabbed and being killed, he actually gets up and kills Scre4m himself, which that was insane. I really like Charlie. I really like Charlie's motivation. I really like the story. Again, the meta humor was fantastic. There's so many positives in this movie. I liked every character. Every character played their role perfectly. Sydney, again, maybe probably the best part of the movie was actually Sydney, because I kind of at this point feel really bad for Sydney, but
Oh hell
no,
yeah,
she's a
she's
great
like
character.
half of anything that of what she's been through anyone to go through, like half of what she's been through, if you get what I mean. They'd already be in a friggin' straitjacket by now.
Exactly, and the fact that she isn't, the fact that she's so strong and a survivor really makes her an interesting character.
You're a
Gale, on the other hand, that's another positive that I really have. Is Gale was fantastic throughout this movie. I feel like as much as she really has grown as a character throughout the time span, the time skip that she went through, I feel like it's still Gale. It's still Gale at heart, and I really liked kind of the argument she has with uh dang it, I like this film so much. I really like the argument she had with Dewey about whether or not she should actually be in the project, because of course after the whole thing with Scream 1 and 2 and 3, she decided that she doesn't want to be a reporter anymore. So as not a reporter, she doesn't really have a right to do this whole thing, but as someone who wants to be a hero, she does. And oh my god, that argument was so well done. It was so well done. She was fantastic in this movie. I only have one negative, and I'm gonna save it for then. But okay, I'll just say it here. Dewey was not in the movie enough for me. That's the only thing. The fact at he wasn't in the movie that much was the only negative I have. It's pretty good.
We'll get
This
into
movie
it more
was just too good.
negatives.
Yeah, this movie was just too good. Those are
Alright.
I can keep going, but I think I don't want to spoil the entire film and leave you guys with nothing to talk about. But man, this was a good movie. I had so many positives.
Alrighty. Austin is up next.
Wow, Dylan, you really took the wind out of my sails.
I told you I had a lot of positives.
So, okay, I guess the one thing that Dylan didn't really touch on was the visuals. I think it was shot very well. It looked nice. I think the music was great. Once again, the characters. I will say that is a big step up from Scream 3s. I think the characters are really good. One of the cops. I don't remember what his name is. It was
Anthony
Oh.
Anderson.
Yeah, Anthony Anderson. He was one of the officers, and I liked his death because literally he gets stabbed in the head, and then he's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" He's so blinded, and then all of a sudden, before he dies, he's like, "Fuck Bruce Willis!" Like, damn, did Wes Craven hate Bruce Willis or something? Damn, man. I didn't know that.
And Ghostface is just sitting there like, look at this bitch ass. Dude,
He's
I'm
like-
over here. You want to fuck me up? I'm over here. Oh, nope. You're just going to fall then? All right.
Ghostface is like, "What the fuck? I like Bruce Willis."
It's like, well, now I know I had a good reason for killing you. What good is it to be a survivor in this little drama if everyone around you is dead?
Yeah, and you know what? I have to say that was, to me, everything I'm gonna say is I'm gonna reiterate what Dylan said. So I'm trying not to like go into too much detail because Dylan basically did it for me. So
Sorry.
the characters were great again. I think Sydney overall had a really cool character arc where she basically she didn't let fame get to her head, but she kind of forgot what was most important, is that where she came from type of thing, which I do like. I wish they maybe maybe they could have maybe done a little bit more with it, but it was fine. I liked it. I liked Gail again in this movie. She has a real. You feel bad for her because she genuinely wants to do more, but she feels like she can't, and so now she has to go out of her way and be the, not the bad guy, but basically in her own words, go rogue type of thing. And it was fun to see. Dewey was cool to see again, even though realistically he doesn't really do much in this movie, which I will talk about a little bit more in my negatives. But other than that, I even thought the newer characters were very fun. Like, I think Kirby was a really fun character. She had a little bit of a crush thing on Charlie, I believe his name is.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Charlie and being the killer, it was, once the movie progressed, I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Because I'm thinking about, like, Trevor was too obvious, and I don't think they're going to do the boyfriend route again. And so Charlie and I believe Robbie, those are the two, like, Robbie was the one that did was doing, like, the live streaming thing. I think Robbie was pretty fun too. I think, like, again, the characters were great. Jill, and that's the one thing I think Dylan kind of brings up, is I think the villain's motivation is very interesting. You know, the first 3 Scream movies is a revenge on Sydney for something that her mom did in the past. I like that the motivation this time around is Jill wanting to be the hero and Jill wanting the fame that Sydney's had. And while I like the reveal and the motivation, that is kind of a negative. It's not a negative, it's more of a nitpick for me, at least.
So you're mixed on it.
I wouldn't say mixed on it. It's just more of it's kind of what I talked about in Scream 3, which I'll get into my negatives, because it's not a major negative. It's not to the point where it's mixed, but it's enough to where I'm like, well, I don't know how I feel about that. But overall, it was handled really well. And some of the actual, like, kind of like action sequences, quote unquote, were fun too. With having you had, like, the little run-ins with Ghostface and Sydney in Jill's house. You even had the one with Gail and Ghostface in the stabathon place, like the abandoned barn. Like, those are shot really well. Again, going back to the more cinematography of it. Let me see here. What else did I like? I, again, like what Dylan said, the meta humor. I like that they made fun of reboots, because at the time of this movie, horror movie remakes were very prominent. Like, let me paint the scene for you. Nightmare on Elm Street was recently rebooted the year before. And that was a big deal at the time. And that was around the time when Hollywood was like, oh my God, Hollywood, yeah, reboots, yeah. We're going to do horror movie reboots because they're making money, yeah.
They reboot and do remakes on everything nowadays. It's getting too crazy for me.
Horror
And
movies.
now we're getting a Frozen 3 and a Toy Story 5 because fuck you.
But I like that they made fun of it, because, you know, as much as Scream 4 is more of a sequel, it still had very reboot-like qualities, like the ending, where it even reflects the ending of Scream 1 a little bit, where you have Charlie and Jill being the last two, like, they're the killers, and then Jill is doing the stew, and I'm blanking on his name. Gail, or no, not Gail. Sydney's boyfriend in the first one. Which I thought that was kind of a nice throwback, and seeing, like, Jill go through this, like, more elaborate, like, make sure that she wasn't caught type of thing, and having the little foreshadowing at the end where Sydney's like, oh, you'll slip up eventually, and then she ends up slipping up in the hospital. And I like the irony of the ending where, yeah, she's portrayed as the hero, but she had to die to really even do so, and even then, more than likely, it's going to be reversed. So, was it really worth it? No, but but it was fun, and I will say this: this is probably the most aggressive Ghostface has been, and some of the like the visuals of the kills are really nice. Although I'm gonna save the kills for my mixed because I do have some minor nitpicks with the kills, but again, that's not here nor there. But overall, I have to say this movie works for me really well. So
Yeah,
those are
the
my positives.
brutality too is like, holy, I'm shocked Dylan didn't note the gore earlier. So yeah.
Honestly, like that's just not the number one thing that comes to my mind because for me, like I'm usually not in the gore or anything like that. Granted, it's a scary movie. You want to kind of be a little scared because of the gore, but I'm not in the gory movies, and that just really wasn't the first thing that came to
Like
mind that
the
I wanted to talk about with this film.
but yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, like, but damn, this movie was vicious.
This was a good movie. It really was.
It was.
And a lot of good kills too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not
So
even one for the blood and stuff like that, but I gotta admit, it's really good kills.
now this kind of goes into what one of my main positives is, because they originally wanted to end this as a trilogy, so a lot of people would probably think Scream 4 is unnecessary. I would argue the exact opposite, actually. I think because that's something the Scream movies are able to do very well with how they always find whatever the current niche is in pop culture and then riff on it is what justifies a sequel's existence. And I think Scream 4 is no exception. The way it's able to comment on, like what Austin said, the current.
Did his sound just go out?
I think it did.
Yeah, Zach,
So
your sound just went out, man.
yeah, like you're.
Alrighty, I'm back. Am I back?
Okay.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so as I was just saying, what Austin said earlier about how this movie commented on the what was the current trend of remakes and reboots is what gave Scream 4 a reason to exist. What would y'all think?
Yeah, because, at this time with horror films, like Texas, well, no, because, like, I would say late 2000s was when it got really bad with horror remakes, because, it wasn't like this was something new, because, like, we've had, like, horror remakes like Texas Chainsaw, Psycho, like, in the 90s and early 2000s, but late 2000s into the 2010s was when it got really absurd. Like you had
I'm too new to have an opinion on this, so I'm staying quiet.
Halloween got a reboot. Friday the 13th was rebooted by Michael Bay, of course. And then you had the Nightmare remake.
Yes,
And
he
even
has to stick his dick in everything.
oh, trust me, he did. Even though he did a decent job with the Texas Chainsaw remakes, I'll give him that.
Oh yeah,
But
that's probably the best of the horror remakes, and even I'm saying that as the Halloween stan.
I'm not saying that some of the remakes aren't bad. In fact, some of them are actually pretty decent. But but even with like the reboots, like the sequels are getting fucking bad as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think like Paranormal Activity was really hot at the time when this came out. I don't know if that may have been later or earlier, but I know that Paranormal Activity was a thing. I know that oh god, what came out during this time? I would I think Saw was also still going on too. So it's like the sequels and reboots were ridiculous, and I agree. Like I'm glad that because the Scream movies are always making fun of something. Like Scream was really making the first one was making fun of horror movies in general. Scream 2 was making fun of sequels. Scream 3 was making fun of of trilogies. This one makes fun of horror remakes and sequels. And Zach, I agree with you. This was I actually will say you can maybe make the argument for it being unnecessary, but I think it was handled really well, and they were able to make it work and actually make it feel necessary.
Yep. And another thing I'll really say is, I think as of right now, Scream 4 has the best written dialogue in the entire franchise too. Like the Ghostface lines alone, I think are my favorite he's ever had in all the series so far.
Yeah,
He's
that's
very-
true.
Just that one whole bit where he's like, "Spare me the lecture. You left this town behind, and you've been profiting off of it. You'll die when I want you to."
Oh, you know what, Zach,
Mhm.
before you continue, I do have one more positive I forgot to mention, and that was the opening. Like,
Oh yeah,
The
seeing
opening
no,
was really good too. Yeah.
seeing how how meta it got with all the sequels at first, how it got really stupid, and they brought up how like time travel and stuff. And then like in one of them, you had like the two sisters, and one of the sisters killed the other, and that was like, wait, what? And then
Yeah,
it's like,
like with Step 7.
the opening was fun. So yeah, that's at least all my positives right now.
That humor is great in these movies. It really is. It makes it fun.
Zach, you still there?
yep, I'm here.
Okay.
She killed Rogue from X-Men, man.
Oh wait, that was Rogue from X-Men?
Yeah, Anna Paquin.
Holy shit. This is like freaking Carrie Fisher all over again.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm-hmm. But back to my positives, like I said, the dialogue I think is the best the franchise has ever had, especially the Ghostface lines alone. "I'm gonna slice your eyelids open so you can't blink when I stab you in the face. You'll die when I want you to. Not before. Until then, you're going to suffer." But that's not the only good stuff. Like seriously, what do y'all think? These are Ghostface's best lines in the series.
I would say this is probably the most, like I said earlier, this is probably the most like violent and more aggressive Ghostface. But it makes sense because you have a character in Jill and Charlie who are desperate for like attention and fame that they want to do it by any means necessary. So it works.
Yeah, not just the Ghostface lines, but all of the dialogue is really good. The way the characters quip off one another. Hell, the scene with Dewey and Deputy Hicks was really funny, and it was really cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, Judy Hicks is a cute character, you know.
I thought so.
Yep. Yeah, what did you guys think of her character, by the way?
She was all right. She was like, I agree, she was cute in a way, but it was like at points I'm like, all right, like she served her purpose, I guess, but she wasn't in it enough for me to make her like her. But it was like, she was okay.
Very good, very good. Another positive I'm gonna have to point to again, the blood and the gore, like just that one bit alone, like the chick is dead on the bed, inside's on the outside, like they said in the original, and
Mhm.
damn. And once again, I gotta point to just how well they are continuing to progress Dewey and Gail's relationship.
Yeah, they progressed it very well in this movie. I do agree with you on that.
And I actually think they were, I mean, not just with the display of blood and gore alone, but I think they had a bit more creativity with their kills this time around.
I agree with you there.
Most notably, the sequences and the scenes like leading up to the kills, you know, like particularly the chick in the parking lot, that was really suspenseful. I mean, that made my balls clench the first time I saw it. So that was really well done. That's probably my favorite sequence of suspense as well as the kill in the movie is with the PR chick in the parking lot. Again, really well done. But other than that, I could, like everyone else, I love the motivation for Jill wanting to become Sydney. Like, y'all took my fire too, damn it. But Yeah, not much else to say, but except without kind of rebuting what everyone else said. So we will then go into mixed, and I will leave it to Austin this time.
All right, honestly, I have one mixed aspect, and this one might. I don't know really how to say it, but okay. As much as the kills, yes, they were gory, and yeah, some of them were kind of nice. I still feel like a reoccurring theme in the series is I think the kills are kind of lame, besides for maybe like one. Like it's the same thing. You get stabbed, oh, then you die. It to me, it's not really a negative at this point because it's just a reoccurring thing. But it's just to me at points it's kind of lame. Like I understand it's a slasher villain, so it doesn't really make sense to do like the Michael Myers thing or a Jason Voorhees or a Freddy Krueger. But it's like you could be a little bit more creative in terms of the kills. Like again, I appreciate the more aggressive ways that he like finds a way to stab people, but it's just the kills are just okay to me. Like they're nothing special. It's just more like oh, you get stabbed and all that stuff. So other than that, that's really the only mixed aspect I have.
Well done.
Me, I really don't have any mixed aspects at all. Like, and I only really have one negative. Like,
Mm. For me, my mixed aspect actually has something to do with the dewdrop. I'll just say it right now. Dewey is just as great and well written as he always is in the series, I guess. But I do have to kind of agree with you guys though as far as screen time.
yeah, that's my negative. Actually, that's not a mixed aspect for me. That's a negative. I wish Dewey was in the film a little more.
Watch the extended cut. Well, it's a fan edit, but there is an extended
A
cut.
little bit more Dewey in it. Yeah.
Yep. But and another thing is the ending, like the ending scene of the movie with the news reports and Jill's the hero and all that. It's like you needed more of a resolution with her actually being exposed as the fact that that she was making all this up. I get now. Here's the thing. On the one hand, I do actually think I do get what they're going for, and it's brilliant with all the fame and the coverage that she wanted, and she doesn't even get to live to see it. I do like that. I love
I
that.
like that. I
But at
like
the
the way
same
it
time,
ended.
it's like you needed, especially at a point in time where there would be so many years going by where we didn't think if we were ever going to get another sequel. You kind of needed to end it more definitively as far as showing is Sydney going to make it out okay with her wound? Is Jill actually going to be exposed and all that? So it's like you kind of needed a bit more with your ending. What do you guys think?
I actually disagree with you on that, man. I feel sure the way it ended kind of left it up to interpretation, but I feel like yeah, it would be obvious that the next day everyone would probably get healed up in the hospital. Sydney would be fine. Dewey and Gale would go back add to their lives, and yes, Sydney would tell the truth, and everyone would accept it that Jill is the one who started this whole crazy mess in the first place. I feel like that's like so obvious that that didn't need to be told. Now, as for this being the last movie, you and me both know that this was not supposed to be the last movie. The creator just passed away, unfortunately. But I can kind of see where they could do something like that in the fifth movie, if things didn't go the way they went. But rest in peace to the creator of this movie.
R.I.P. Wes Craven.
That's him. That's him.
I'm gonna agree with Dylan. I actually think the ending works, and not every ending to a movie needs to have a resolution. Now, do I agree that maybe they could have maybe ended it a little bit tighter? Maybe, but the thing is, it wasn't a huge negative for me. It
Maybe
worked.
with an after credit scene.
It works for the movie that they were trying to tell. I didn't really have an issue with it.
Alrighty. Now, the big one. Our negatives. I'll let Austin start.
Well, all right. I actually have like one negative, and once again, this is kind of something that I brought up in the last Scream review. Is I will say I wouldn't say it's repetitious because it's very different. But once again, there are still way too similar story beats here. Like once again, you have Dewey and Gale having like a argument about something. The killer is related to Sydney again. It's not a major negative, but it's just like okay, it's different enough to where it's not completely repetitive, but it is something that I did notice in this film. Is it there are like a couple story points where it's like, all right, we get it already, type of thing. Let's move on. But other than that, I don't really have any other negatives.
Dylan?
When it comes to negatives, the only negative that I really have is Dewey just needed to be in the film more. I understand what they were doing with his assistant, but to be honest with you, they could have taken her completely out, and I guess they did that so you would have another suspect possibly. But I feel like her Dewey's screen time was stolen. I feel like he should have been a lot more a part of the movie. With that said, that isn't to say he wasn't written well, that he didn't have his moments in the movie. He really did. It's only because I like the character so much that I want more of him in the movie. You know.
Fair enough, fair enough. I guess I only have one real negative, and that's I feel like the idea of trying to pin it on the boyfriend, or as far as all the red herring stuff going throughout the movie, trying to go for that again, I feel like it'd be too obvious now because we know to expect something different. So I never really guessed that the ex-boyfriend Trevor was ever going to be the killer. But that's about it. Everything else in this movie was absolute brilliance. Any last little bits before we get to the final score?
No. Oh wait, actually no. I do have one more negative, and Zach, thank you for reminding me. It's not that I predicted that it probably wasn't going to be Trevor, but I felt like Trevor was just not a likable character. I found him to be very annoying. He had like simp like behavior, and I do not tolerate any simping anywhere. So I felt like he just came off as annoying, and it felt like they were trying to make it too obvious in the sense of, oh no, it's definitely not him because we're trying to make him so like annoying type of thing. So that's really my only other negative.
Alrighty. I'm actually gonna start off the final score with this, then we'll go to Dylan, and then into Austin. We'll give our final thoughts on the film, then our final score. As I said in the beginning, I think Scream 4 is the best in the series, or at least my personal favorite. It has the most inventive ideas in the franchise since the original. The kills are at their most gnarly. The dialogue is at its smartest and wittiest sense since the original film. And Ghostface is a fucking beast in this, as with the dialogue and with the killing. Especially the dialogue. Oh, I love his dialogue in this. Spare me the lectures today. But my final score is an A- and a 9.5 out of 10. Alrighty, Dylan.
All right, so you actually said something to me, Zach, that I'm gonna kind of quote you. You said that this movie was a return to form for the Scream franchise, and I really feel like that fits so well because while I really like the first and second movie, and they're tied for second place. This is now first place. Well, I'll give you my score in a second here, but this is my favorite movie out of the franchise. I really did like the first movie in this film. With that said, again, the second movie didn't have me flip flopping as much as I wanted to. There really wasn't an idea of who the villain was in that movie. Versus this film, I actually flip flopped about 4 or 5 times constantly throughout the entire film. It was a lot of fun. Uh, Kept up the same type of energy as the first movie did. I really did like that. And then again, the story that the relative being the main villain, did you kind of see it coming? Yes, but the motivations made sense, and it was a really type of story that they told with it. I really did enjoy pretty much every aspect of it, to the point where I actually prefer this one over the first one, which is crazy. This is actually turned out to be my favorite Scream movie. With that said, it's gonna be just a regular a 9 out of 10. Uh, I can't believe I really did enjoy this film as much because I am not really a horror fan. I'm not a scary movie fan at all. Blood and gore, I can accept it, but I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But really, what's got me liking Scream so much is the mystery aspect and the meta humor. Those two combined with the motivations of the characters really makes it a fun and interesting ride, to the point where I think even if you're like me, you're not a blood and guts and gore fan, but you are kind of a mystery and a kind of a story kind of person, then yeah, Scream's definitely for you. I really enjoy the story aspects and the twists and turns that this film has. It's a lot of fun. Scream 4 is definitely my favorite. An A out, and a 9 out of 10. That's why I give it.
Alrighty, Austin.
I'm gonna echo Zach's grade. I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A minus. I think this movie, it's my second favorite because while I may agree there are a lot of things that are better than the original, I still am under the belief that very rarely you can't very top the original, because the original did help reinvigorate the horror genre as a whole. Whereas Scream 4, you can maybe make the same argument for this, but I feel like Scream, the first one, did more for horror than this one did. But everything in this movie works. I like the visuals, the music, the kills, the story, the characters, like everything works. Like it wasn't like Scream 3 where it was like the characters were boring, like there wasn't a whole lot to it. This one, yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of interested on what I'm going to think about Scream 5. I don't know if I'm going to like it more or less, but we'll find out. But overall, A minus for me.
And speaking of Scream 5, I'm going to do something I have never done before. I'm going to reveal who the killer in Scream 5 is.
Nope,
The killer
nope,
in
nope,
Scream
nope, nope,
5
nope.
is. Da 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 da!
Corey Cunningham.
It was me, motherfuckers.
Oh my god, he keeps stealing these characters' movies.
It was a joke, Dylan. It was a joke. I had to do something. I had to do something. But I'm curious. So, Dylan, before we close up, what are your expectations for Scream 5?
My expectations for Scream 5. Um,
I mean,
more
put it in
Dewey.
this way. Yeah, put it this way. Considering that the original director died, and aside from you still have the characters and the main actors still there, it was mostly like a new crew, new directors, a lot of basically fresh blood behind the scenes and all that, making Scream 5. What kind of expectation does that give you? Given that the next movie is going to have kind of a different flair to it.
Well, so there's two ways this could go for me, and I hope it's the latter instead of this one. But the fact is, you get new people in there. They don't really understand the main story, and they're just looking for money. And it turns out to be a total trash movie. I hope that's not the case. Or
It
you
wasn't.
can,
I think it definitely wasn't.
yeah. Or you get fans in there who love the original, want to respect the original, and do a proper film that tells different type of story with the same characters and pays homage to the first one. I hope that's the one we get. So far, it sounds like that's the one we're gonna get, but I'm not. I'm going into this movie with as little expectations as possible because I don't want to overhype myself. I know you guys say the fifth one's good, but I don't want to overhype myself. The fourth one was great. And really, I feel like the fourth one you could have ended it perfectly with the fourth one. I really did like the ending of the fourth one. I really don't know. I really don't see how the fifth one could go. I did see the trailer, and I did like what the trailer was saying up. Zach here showed me the trailer yesterday, and I do like what's saying up,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna be an interesting film.
And
Definitely.
the only thing I will say about Scream 5 is it goes for the legacy sequel passing of the torch form of storytelling. That's all
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
So from that, I guess my guess would be is that there's another murder that happens with another ghost face, but it's not Sydney this time. It's somebody Sydney is close to, and it's not like this time with Sydney's cousin. I think it's gonna be something like maybe a neighbor or something is going through something very similar, and it has to help her, and she passes the torch to her, kind of thing. Gail, on the other hand, I could see her kind of maybe she has a daughter or somebody, or maybe a young new TV reporter is trying to find the new story, and Gail's kind of helping her out and understanding what happened before. She really wants to help her out. Dewey with a new cop, I can kind of see that as well, training new cops, and then it ends up on this crazy ride looking for another murderer. But we'll have to see. I really have no expectations for this fifth film. I'm just hoping that I don't expect it to be good. Let me rephrase that. I don't expect it to be better than Scream 4, but I do expect a at least decent film. So we'll see what happens.
Better than decent is what you are going to get. I can promise that. But with that being said, any final things we want to say about Scream 4 before we wrap it up?
No, I said everything I had to say.
Same with me. Absolutely enjoyed the film.
Very well, very well. With that being said, then, that is going to wrap it up for our review of Scream 4. We will actually be going on a bit of a hiatus. We will be reviewing Scream 5 on the 3rd of March, just a week away by that point from the release of Scream 6. In the meantime, I will let everyone plug themselves. Dylan, where can they find you?
Guys, you can find me over on Anime Talk tomorrow. It will be the next podcast. I know I was gonna do it Tuesday, but unfortunately no one just had time to come on. So tomorrow at I think it's 9. It will be I think it's 9 your guys' time, 7 my time. We will be talking about Death Note with my buddy Austin here and a couple of other people. Should be fun. Should be fun. Then after that, we'll be over at Austin Ayer's channel to review another DC movie, which will be fun. You guys can find me here on Zach's channel for the DC. I mean the DC, the Scream reviews, and yeah, just subscribe to everybody. I'm just about everywhere.
Very good.
Thanks
Austin,
for having me on, man.
anytime.
Yeah, so you know what? You guys basically, Dylan said it best, but you can find me on my channel tomorrow night. You on my channel we're reviewing Constantine's City of Demons, and then on Saturday we'll be reviewing Reign of the Supermen, and then just like Zach will be going on hiatus for a couple of weeks, and then March 1st we'll be back reviewing Batman Hush. So go, and then we'll finish up the DC animated movie reviews, and then we'll rank them in a separate stream. You guys can find me on the Bad Batch Roundtable usually on Sundays. You guys can find me on the Hangout later on tonight on the Basco Scenario Guy Scar's channel, Anime Talk tomorrow as well, Zach Gaxiola's channel for these Scream reviews, and I'm everywhere in between. Zach, thanks for having me on.
Anytime, anytime. With that being said, we are out of here for a couple weeks. We will we will be back on the 3rd of March to review Scream 5, and then next week, me and Austin will hopefully be able to work it out. See Scream 6 right away, go live and give our thoughts. But Dylan most likely will not be able to join us because he is in the process of moving, so he likely will not be able to see it right away. So in that case, I will very happily do a second stream later down the line to get Dylan on here and get him caught up with his thoughts after seeing Scream 6. But with that being said, yep, and we will see you all on the other side. Take care, fellas.
Later.
Yeah.
And I will see you all soon.